I can't believe I'm still singing. Next month is 15 years. Can you believe that? 15 years. And it blows my mind to think that I'm singing with this group still. I still pinch myself sometimes and think, gosh, I'm singing with Bill Gaither, the legend himself, the guy that I grew up admiring. And
for decades, Wes Hampton's voice has echoed as a powerful source of hope and comfort in the world of gospel music. As the soaring tenor of the renowned Gaither Vocal Band, his smooth, heartfelt tones have moved millions. But who is the man behind that voice? What drives a singer to pour not just talent, but soul into every note? Wes Hampton is more than a gifted vocalist. He is a messenger of faith, resilience, and healing.
He is a Grammy Award winner, a Dove Award winner. He's a solo artist, and he is also a member of the Gaither Vocal Band.
Behind the music lies a story marked by personal struggle, unwavering belief, and a deep commitment to family, often hidden away from the spotlight. How does one balance the demands of a public ministry with the quiet challenges of home life? How does faith sustain someone through both triumph and hardship? This is the story of Wes Hampton, a man who sings with more than just his voice, who lives with humility, and who strives to be a beacon of light for those navigating their own storms. From his earliest days, Wes's life was woven tightly with music and faith, but his journey was never about chasing fame or applause. Instead, it has always been about something far greater: connection. How can a single voice reach the tired hearts and weary souls of a hurting world? How can music become a ministry that heals, uplifts, and transforms? Wes's path reveals the delicate dance between passion and sacrifice, ministry and family, public success and private struggle. His story is not just inspiring, it's profoundly human, inviting us all to reflect on the power of faith lived honestly, with all its challenges and rewards, early gifts and a higher calling. Wes Hampton was born on December 8, 1977, in Memphis, Tennessee, but it was in Birmingham, Alabama, where he grew up surrounded by rich spiritual and musical traditions. Birmingham's history is one of strength and struggle, a backdrop that shaped Wes's understanding of perseverance and faith. From the very beginning, music seemed woven into Wes's DNA. His mother fondly remembers how, at just 3 years old, little Wes would hum and sing harmonies from the back seat of the family car, almost as if the melodies were already a part of his soul. It wasn't long before those early moments of simple joy grew into something far more profound. Wes began singing regularly in church as a child, where his exceptional vocal range and tone quickly stood out. But more than the applause or recognition, he found in music a way to communicate with God and others. The church wasn't just a stage, it was a sanctuary where his voice could be a channel of hope and healing. While many young singers dream of fame, Wes dreamed of ministry. His adolescence was marked by steady growth in music, nurtured by local choir groups, church events, and school musicals. He practiced tirelessly, knowing that his gift was special, but also understanding the responsibility it carried. Even then, Wes's vision was clear. His voice was a tool for connection, encouragement, and spiritual uplift, not simply a way to entertain. Alongside his musical journey, Wes valued education and understanding the human mind. He attended Nashville's TCA Nazarene University before transferring to the University of Alabama at Birmingham, where he earned a degree in psychology. This study wasn't just academic, it reflected Wes's desire to speak truth and bring healing to weary souls, whether through words or song. Yet, despite the promise of a stable career in psychology, Wes felt a persistent pull toward gospel music. The stage called to him, but more importantly, the chance to minister through music was something he couldn't ignore. He knew that his voice carried a power that went beyond notes and rhythms. It could touch lives, mend hearts, and inspire change. Rising to the spotlight, joining the Gaither Vocal Band. The turning point in Wes's career came in 2005, when he was invited to join the Gaither Vocal Band, an iconic group in Southern gospel music with a legacy stretching back decades. For Wes, this was both an honor and a challenge. The band had a long line of legendary tenors, and stepping into their shoes meant more than just singing well. It meant living up to a standard that many considered untouchable. But Wes wasn't interested in imitation. He brought something fresh, a unique, genuine sound that blended purity, clarity, and heartfelt emotion. His voice became the band's signature, helping to define a new era for the Gaither Vocal Band that resonated deeply with longtime fans and new listeners alike. Tours followed, taking Wes across the country and around the world. With each performance, songs like "I'll Pray for You" and "Jesus is Everywhere" became more than just melodies. They were messages that people carried in their hearts long after the music stopped. Wes's gift was not simply technical skill, but his ability to pour his soul into every lyric and note. However, beneath the joyous performances and the bright lights, Wes's life was far from easy. The pressure of ministry, constant travel, and time away from his family began to weigh heavily. Behind the happy pictures and smiling faces were moments of loneliness and exhaustion, an all-too-human story hidden behind the glamour of gospel stardom. In the late 1990s, before joining the Gaither Vocal Band, Wes married Andrea Hampton. Their relationship became the cornerstone of his life, a grounding force amid the chaos of the music industry. Andrea, quiet and private, devoted herself to their home and children, managing daily life while Wes pursued his calling on the road. The couple had 4 boys, and though their family life was filled with love, it was not without challenges. Andrea often felt the weight of responsibility alone, handling discipline, school events, doctor's appointments, and emergencies without Wes's regular presence. The emotional distance grew slowly but surely, wearing on both of them. Despite these strains, Andrea remained Wes's strongest supporter. It was her quiet strength and honesty that eventually prompted them to seek counseling, a step that was difficult but necessary. They faced their struggles head-on, deciding to rebuild rather than retreat. Wes began to recognize the cost of his career on his family, feeling guilt for missed birthdays and moments he could never reclaim. Their journey through counseling was gradual and sometimes painful. It involved setting boundaries, carving out family time, and rediscovering each other beyond the roles of singer and wife. Andrea reconnected with her own passions through writing and Bible study, restoring her identity alongside her marriage. Wes began to share parts of this journey publicly, breaking the silence that often surrounds struggles in the gospel community. At marriage seminars, he spoke candidly about the importance of honesty and the role Andrea played in saving his ministry and their family. "If you lose your house while trying to gain the world," he said, "then you have nothing." Their story resonates because it is real, a testament to grace, humility, and the hard work of love. It's a reminder that even those with the most public platforms face private battles, and that healing is possible through faith, communication, and commitment. Trials behind the curtain, loss and resilience. Despite Wes Hampton's growing success and ministry, his personal life was marked by profound sorrow and quiet battles that few outside his close circle knew about. In 2012, tragedy struck when Wes's younger sister, Lauren, passed away unexpectedly due to complications from a rare autoimmune disease. She was only 28 years old. The news shook Wes and his family to their core. At the time, Wes was on tour, far from home when he received the devastating call. Years later, he recalled the moment vividly. "I remember falling to my knees in the dressing room. At first, I couldn't cry. My soul seemed to shut down, muted by the shock. The grief was overwhelming, silent yet immense." Taking a brief hiatus from touring, Wes returned to his family's side to mourn. But even after returning to the stage, his heart was heavy. His voice, usually so steady and sure, shook with the weight of loss. Songs that once carried general messages of faith took on new, deeply personal meanings. Hymns like "Glorious Impossible" and "Sometimes It Takes a Mountain" became prayers not just for his audience, but for himself. In a heartfelt blog post, Wes opened up about his experience with grief, making a powerful statement that touched many. Being grieved does not mean a lack of faith. It's the cost of loving deeply. Though his pain was private, it gave his music an added layer of honesty and tenderness, allowing listeners to connect with him on a more human level. The tragedy also led Wes to become an advocate for mental health awareness within the Christian community, a topic often avoided or misunderstood in religious circles. He spoke gently and openly about the importance of facing sorrow rather than hiding it. His willingness to admit vulnerability helped many fans feel less alone in their own struggles. The struggles of ministry and family. While grief shaped Wes's personal journey, the demands of his ministry created ongoing tension. The Gaither Vocal Band's full-time travel schedule required Wes to spend months away from home each year. Though he loved his fellow band members and the work they did together, the constant absence weighed heavily on his family life. Andrea, who managed the household and raised their 4 boys almost single-handedly during these times, bore the brunt of this separation. The physical distance often created emotional gaps, not from neglect, but from the reality of being apart. Wes acknowledged the strain during a vulnerable 2018 podcast interview. "I was missing bedtime stories and everyday moments. Even though I was doing God's work, I wasn't always at peace." The tension between ministry duties and family presence is a common challenge for many in religious life. But Wes and Andrea's commitment to honesty and healing set them apart. They refused to let the demands of ministry quietly erode their marriage. Instead, they chose to confront their difficulties openly and intentionally. Andrea's suggestion to seek counseling marked a turning point. While initially difficult, the sessions forced both to confront painful truths and emotional fatigue. Andrea sometimes felt invisible or abandoned, carrying the weight of parenting alone. Wes felt deep regret for the moments he missed, realizing that the ministry he loved had, in some ways, pulled him away from the family he cherished most. Gradually, they implemented changes. Wes began reducing his time away, setting boundaries to prioritize family. Andrea reconnected with her own passions and spiritual gifts by returning to writing and participating in Bible study groups, rediscovering herself beyond her role as a wife and mother. This rebuilding was not instant or easy. It required patience, prayer, and humility. But over time, their marriage grew stronger and more authentic. Wes started sharing their journey publicly, encouraging others in similar situations to seek help rather than suffer in silence. Facing public scrutiny, the rumors, and the response. Even with a renewed marriage and growing ministry, Wes Hampton was not immune to public challenges. In 2019, rumors began circulating on social media about a backstage dispute between Wes and another gospel performer during a tour. The speculation claimed Wes had walked out over disagreements about song choices and artistic direction. Gospel music blogs and Facebook groups quickly picked up the story, fueling dramatic headlines. Conflict in the camp, gospel giant feud, and "Is Gaither losing Wes Hampton?" Fans were confused, and the story spread rapidly despite no official confirmation. For Wes, the rumors were painful not because of the accusations themselves, but because assumptions were made without hearing his side. Known for his humility, Wes chose not to engage in defensive battles. Instead, he posted a calm and respectful message on Instagram. "Stories that aren't entirely true are sometimes told. I hold everyone I work with in the highest regard. Differences happen occasionally, but love and unity always prevail." His response was mature and measured, reflecting his commitment to grace even under pressure. Behind the scenes, Wes confided in friends that the worst part was the narrative being shaped without his voice. Rather than allowing the controversy to derail him, Wes's performances became even more focused and heartfelt in the following months. The incident seemed to reinforce his dedication to his mission above all else. A deeper calling, solo projects, and mentorship.
I wanted to sing in the vocal band, so go figure.
That's good.
Go figure. Isn't that crazy?
Beyond the Gaither Vocal Band, Wes's musical journey expanded as he pursued solo projects that allowed him to explore more personal themes. Albums like A Man Like Me and Reality mixed emotional honesty with messages of hope and resilience. Through these works, Wes addressed struggles, doubts, and the pursuit of faith in a way that resonated deeply with listeners. His songs reached beyond traditional gospel themes, touching on the complexity of human experience, the loneliness, the questions, and the quiet moments of doubt that many face but few openly discuss in the Christian community. Music became more than performance. It became therapy and ministry. In interviews, Wes often said, "When I sing, I'm not just performing, I'm healing, I'm connecting." This connection was not just to an audience, but to his own soul as he processed grief, frustration, and growth through his art. His solo work allowed him to be vulnerable in ways group settings sometimes did not, giving listeners a rawer glimpse into his heart and faith journey. Alongside his music, Wes took on a mentorship role, guiding younger gospel artists in balancing ministry, spirituality, and life's demands. He became known not just as a powerful voice, but as a wise and caring leader who encouraged new talents to build strong foundations. His advice went beyond musical technique to include practical wisdom about maintaining spiritual health, humility, and perseverance in the face of industry pressures. Wes emphasized that a lasting career was not just about hits or popularity, but about staying true to one's calling and values. Wes's message was clear. Legacy isn't measured by awards or fame, but by faithfulness and authenticity. He sought to lead by example, showing that being used by God often means embracing vulnerability and perseverance rather than public acclaim. His mentorship also emphasized the importance of community and support, encouraging artists not to isolate themselves, but to find strength in shared faith and accountability. Through his solo work and leadership, Wes continued to expand his impact, proving that true ministry is multifaceted, sometimes loud and celebratory, other times quiet and deeply personal. Living faithfully, the man behind the music. Wes Hampton's story is ultimately one of integrity and grace. His life embodies a faith that is real, sometimes messy, but always sincere. Whether leading worship in packed venues or quietly praying with his sons before bedtime,
David does called Come to Jesus, which I absolutely love. I just love the melody, I love the feel of the song, I love how David sings it.
Wes's commitment to living like Jesus extends beyond his music. His approach to faith is holistic, rooted in everyday actions, conversations, and decisions as much as in the songs he sings on stage. He has spoken candidly about the desire to not only sing about Jesus, but to live out his teachings through love, forgiveness, and listening. This humility shines through in how he navigates the complexities of ministry and family. Wes often shares how he struggles with balancing the demands of a public ministry with the needs of his home life, acknowledging that this balance requires constant work, prayer, and honest communication with his wife, Andrea. Though well known for his vocal gift, Wes's true talent lies in his heart, a heart that has faced loss, pain, and challenge, yet continues to serve quietly and faithfully. His journey reminds us that faith doesn't erase hardship, but sustains us through it. He openly discusses the emotional toll of ministry and the importance of mental health, breaking stigmas in a genre where such topics are often avoided. By sharing his own experiences with grief, emotional exhaustion, and marital struggles, Wes offers a rare example of vulnerability and strength coexisting in ministry life. Wes's story also challenges the gospel community to embrace honesty about mental health, marriage struggles, and the cost of ministry. By sharing his experiences openly, he offers hope to others struggling behind the scenes, those who feel unseen or overwhelmed. His transparency encourages a culture where faith and imperfection can coexist, and where seeking help is a sign of strength rather than weakness. Wes's life and music are a testimony to the power of grace, perseverance, and the ongoing journey of faith lived authentically in a complicated world. Legacy in progress, beyond the stage. Wes Hampton's voice has graced some of gospel music's most prestigious stages. Millions have been moved by his performances, from grand tours to intimate worship gatherings. Yet, the true power of his voice comes from a life marked by struggle, healing, and an unwavering commitment to faith and family. His journey is not just one of musical achievement, but of personal transformation, a story that reaches far beyond the spotlight and echoes in the hearts of those who face their own battles. Behind every soaring note lies a man who has faced profound loss and deep hardship. Wes has experienced moments of quiet sorrow that few in the public eye ever see. The tragic passing of his younger sister Lauren left a wound that reshaped his faith and his music. In those dark times, he found himself questioning, grieving, and ultimately embracing a more raw and authentic expression of worship. His music became a refuge not just for himself, but for thousands who struggle to find hope amid pain. Songs like Glorious Impossible and Sometimes It Takes a Mountain carry new weight because they are born from lived experience, from a heart that has known both joy and brokenness. Wes's commitment to his family is equally a cornerstone of his legacy. His marriage to Andrea, forged in love and tested by the demands of ministry life, has grown through trials that could have easily torn them apart. Their story is a reminder that even the strongest relationships are vulnerable to the strains of distance, exhaustion, and emotional weariness. Yet, through counseling, honest conversations, and mutual support, Wes and Andrea rebuilt their marriage, emerging stronger and more connected. This personal triumph informs Wes's music and ministry today, making him not just a singer, but a living example of grace, perseverance, and redemption. The gospel industry can often be a place of pressure and expectation, where the need to appear perfect overshadows the human reality behind the scenes. Wes Hampton's journey challenges this illusion by showing the power of authenticity. He does not shy away from sharing his struggles, openly discussing mental health, the pain of missing precious family moments, and the challenges of balancing ministry with personal life. In doing so, he invites others to embrace their own vulnerabilities, to seek healing rather than hide hurt, and to find strength in community and faith. Moreover, Wes's influence extends beyond his vocal talents. He is a mentor to younger musicians, guiding them not only in their artistry, but in maintaining spiritual health and groundedness in a demanding industry. His leadership is marked by humility and a deep understanding that success means little without integrity and a solid foundation of faith. As Wes continues to sing and serve, his legacy is unfolding, a testament to the enduring power of faith lived honestly. He exemplifies how true ministry often happens in quiet moments. A prayer whispered at bedtime, a heart willing to listen and forgive, a family that chooses to stay together despite hardship. His life speaks to a profound truth that resonates far beyond gospel music, that the greatest impact comes not from perfection, but from perseverance, not from fame, but from faithfulness. Wes Hampton's story reminds us all that faith makes life possible, not always easy, and that the most beautiful music often rises from the deepest trials. His voice, rich with emotion and conviction, carries with it the weight of experience and the light of hope. And in every note he sings, listeners hear not just a talented performer, but a man who has journeyed through darkness and emerged with a heart full of grace and a spirit committed to serve. Wes Hampton's journey through the highs and lows of gospel music and life reveals a truth often overlooked. Faith is not a shield from hardship, but a source of strength amid it. His story shows how love and perseverance can rebuild what hardship threatens to break, how humility and grace can transform pain into ministry. Through every tear shed backstage, every missed birthday, and every silent prayer, Wes has remained committed, not to perfection, but to presence. His music has been his ministry, his family his sanctuary, and his faith the anchor that holds them both. Andrea's unwavering support and courage, alongside Wes's humility and openness, illustrate that ministry is not just a public performance, but a private journey. They remind us that being used by God often means wrestling with brokenness and choosing healing over denial. As Wes continues to sing, mentor, and live out his faith, his legacy grows not just in notes and melodies, but in lives touched, marriages restored, and hearts uplifted. His voice may fill concert halls, but it is his quiet, steadfast heart that resonates most deeply. In a world quick to highlight flaws and failures, Wes Hampton stands as a beacon of grace, a living testament that faith, when embraced honestly, can carry us through even the darkest valleys and into the light of hope. His story is far from finished, but already it is one of courage, resilience, and a profound reminder that the most powerful music comes not just from talent, but from a heart surrendered to God's purpose.